Hello everybody, David Burns, and we are in the green chair. It's Answer Friday. Hello Patrick.
Hi David.
We just got done filming.
Yep.
And you always do a great job in filming out there in the bee yard.
Thank you.
We have a blast. And people are starting to really say they appreciate all that you do, and they really see the effort you're putting into it.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. So it is a lot of effort, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
There's some days when we're soaked.
Yeah, our shirts are soaked out there. So we're working hard for you guys. And today, if you're not familiar with the Green Chair Answer Friday, that means that we're taking leftover questions from the live stream last night. And I usually do it myself, but I thought it'd be fun for you guys to meet Patrick. And, you know, we'll go through your questions. And these are questions that I just didn't have time to answer last night. So Patrick, hit me with some of the questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. You were on the live stream last night.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, so you might remember some of these questions.
Yep.
Give me the first one.
Okay, this one's from Larry.
Hey, Larry.
It says, hi, David. One of my hives is consuming a quart of 1-to-1 plus additives in 1 to 1.5 days. Also still active outside of the hive, foraging. The super I plan to leave them is full. Do I add another and remove feeders?
Okay. Yeah, that's a $1 million question. Right now, what do? You want to see if your bees can keep getting nectar, bring it in, fill up another super for you. And my advice is go ahead and try it. Maybe it'll work out for you. Be ready to take it off if it doesn't. Now, if you're trying to collect honey in those supers, you don't want to be feeding if that's what honey that you're going to be eating. So you might want to get rid of any feeding while your bees are bringing in nectar. That's the best advice I can give. You got any thoughts on that?
No.
Yeah, okay. What's the next one?
It says, I had AI make an image for David. Where can I send it?
Oh my gosh. We'll make one for Pat.
Yeah.
I'll leave a link right here. We do have a P.O. box, so feel free to leave things. All of you, a lot of you leave a lot of things, send a lot of things to the P.O. box. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right, next one.
Says, this one's from Naomi. David, is there any reason behind the dire 70% die out prediction?
Oh, I mentioned last night during the live stream, and I said it's been rumored that we're going to see a larger increase of die-outs this coming winter season than we had. And I mentioned commercial guys. I think they saw 70% losses and maybe 60 in the backyard beekeepers. But I said that's just a rumor. So no, there's no way that we can know that. But I think some people are just fearful that it will happen, and they just like to say it. I haven't seen anything that would lead us to know how it's going to be. You know, you can read the Farmer's Almanac and talk about. But Pat, some people are saying that, you know, I've done some mite tests, and you've done some at your house, and we're seeing lower mite counts. And some people are wondering if bees are like a lot of cyclical insects, where maybe the mites. This would be an easier year for mites. Are you seeing that at your property?
I tested all of my hives. I have 14 colonies, and all of them were 0, 1, and 2 mites, except for one, and it had 15.
Now, this is before you treated at all? Or have you
No, I treated about a month and a half ago.
Okay, so even though you've been treated, you're still showing 1 or 2 or 3. And one just has a lot, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like, I wonder if your treatment didn't work as well on that one or something.
I used oxalic acid vapor.
Yeah.
And it had a screen bottom board.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't do anything about that. I just let it blow out the bottom.
Yeah, I bet that's what did it.
Week and a half ago, I put a solid bottom board on that hive, and I started treating again.
Okay.
So we'll see.
That was a lot of work, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Anytime you got to change out the bottom board, you got to just slaughter the whole hive, don't you? Oh my! On a hot day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been hot for 2 months.
It has been.
Yeah.
It's been. This is. You know, how many years have you filmed with me? Has it been?
This is the second year.
Is that it? I feel like we've been together for 5 years.
Seems like a long time, huh?
Okay. Well, last year it was not this hot.
I don't think so.
No, because this year we've had so much trouble trying to keep our cameras running.
Yep.
And they just overheat on us. So this has been really hot. But now we finally got a break, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, say, okay, so I answered that. Yeah, it's just a rumor that maybe it's going to be a worse year, but we'll see. Hopefully not. All right, what's the next one?
This one's from Tom. How should I manage my resource hive going into a Pennsylvania winter?
Oh, yeah, resource hives. Now, resource hives are exactly what the word means. They are resources. So you're using frames or bees out of that resource hive to support other colonies. How you handle that is you use it as long as you can. And most people don't want to overwinter a resource hive because sometimes they're smaller, not always. Some people have larger resource hives. But in the case where it's smaller, you need to disperse the frames to weaker colonies. If it's one of these resources hive that's almost like a real hive, it's big and it can overwinter, treat it like a regular hive and see if you can get it through the winter. Yeah, Pennsylvania is about what kind of winters we have here in Illinois. Yep.
This one's from Denton. How long do you do oxalic vaporization? I did 3 treatments 7 days apart, and the last one was about 2 weeks ago. How should I continue with this?
Well, I don't like to talk a lot about treatments because number one, it's different based on your colony configuration. Like during the live stream, somebody asked me, I only have 2 frames and I want to use this treatment. And I responded by saying, well, you got to read the label because sometimes it requires you to have 4 frames of bees or 6 frames of bees, and 2 makes it illegal and it would be maybe too hard on the bees. I never know what your hive configuration is like and what your temperatures are like. But this is a pretty good standard that you'll see a lot of beekeepers using with oxalic vapor. There's the new oxalic, what's the name of the red, white, and blue one?
Easy Ox.
Easy Ox, yeah. And that one allows us to use 2 grams per deep box. So if you had 2 deeps, you could use 4 grams. And I would say most beekeepers like to hit it like you're doing anywhere from 5 to 7 days apart on treatments. And since oxalic doesn't kill below the cap brood, you're going to have an egg's going to be capped over, or it won't emerge until 21 days later on worker bees. So if you think about the 21 days and divide that up, you're going to be treating a good 4 or 5 times to kind of treat so that all of the capped over brood that has mites in it would emerge and let those mites out and you would kill it. That's the best way to describe it. I know you use oxalic. What has been your regimen?
The last time I didn't do it long enough. I do it every 4 days, and I think I did it 5 times or 4 times. 5 times.
Okay.
So I think that comes out to like 16 or 17 days.
Oh, yeah.
This time I'm going to go longer, so I hit probably the 24-day mark for
drones.
Right.
Yeah, because they're probably attracting more mites than anybody, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I've started using oxalic this year, and I do like how simple it is. You don't have to open up a hive, you know. I had a little trouble. I was out there on hot days trying to do it, and you want to cover the front up with a cloth or something. They're bearding. There's so many bees on the front, and as soon as I tried to do that, they were mad about that. So it's a little tricky. Now that the weather's cooler, I think it'd be easier to treat those when the bees are inside, to block off the entrance. Because like you mentioned, you want to block off, if you got a screen bottom board or your entrance is open, you want the vapors not to escape.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty fast.
It does.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah. I think it does too.
So.
Yeah. My battery, I've got a 5 amp hour battery. I think it didn't last as long as I thought. I think I did maybe, oh gosh, a little over 10 hives before it ran out. I was surprised. I thought it lasted the whole time, but it didn't.
Yeah, I have a 4 amp hour, which is probably not big enough.
Yeah.
I have 3 of them, so
okay,
I can do like 8 to 10.
Yeah,
Depends.
okay. That's good to know. I had a question for you though, on the oxalic. Do you, when you're vaping and you're obviously watching the thermostat, and what does yours start off, the temperature start off on? You're doing Fahrenheit.
I think it's 442.
Yeah, mine's about
Fahrenheit.
that. Yeah. When I hit the plunger, I expected it to go down, and it doesn't drop much. Does yours drop?
Yeah, it goes down to 400, 410 maybe sometimes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then it comes up.
Okay, I thought it would drop a lot more.
No,
than
it
that.
recovers pretty fast.
It really does, yeah.
So,
that little battery's making a lot of heat.
yeah.
I mean, that's using a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've been an electrician all your life, and you know that things that make heat use a
Yep.
lot of electricity.
Yep.
Wow.
But it's different.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. What else we got?
from Teresa and Bob, when should we stop pulling for honey?
Well, obviously when the honey flow is over, and we just made a video, talked a little bit about that you judge the incoming bees, how many bees are coming in. If you can count them, you know, that's not going to be a heavy nectar flow. And by counting, I mean like 1, 2, 3. But a heavy nectar flow where they're filling up supers is like you go 1, okay, I'm done, I can't count. There's just too many bees coming in and out, it's too hard to count them. So you're going to have to really judge by the number of bees coming in and out. Also, Patrick, I think people have to actually become kind of like botanists in their area. They have to know plants and flowers, and you have to know seasons where you live. Here in Illinois, we've kind of got that figured out. You know, we got a lot of things that we know bloom in the spring and the summer, and then what blooms in the fall. We kind of know by living here long enough what it's going to be.
This is from D. Is there a specific sugar to use? I was told not to use beet sugar, only pure cane sugar.
Oh, yeah, I hear that a lot. And I understand that, you know, there's a line drawn on the sand with people. Some people hate sugar and think it's very bad, period. Now, bees do need carbohydrates, and we do feel that cane sugar has a better reputation than beet sugar does. It seems like beet sugar might be more processed or have GMO or whatever. But the thing to remember, by the time the sugar gets processed and bagged, most of everything that we fear might be associated with beet sugar, it's pretty much done. It's pretty much not in the beet sugar anymore. I know that I won't be able to convince people that beet sugar is horrible. So if that's your position, I would encourage you to go with cane sugar, pure cane sugar. Remember, bees only live 40, 45 days in the summer. So, you know, somebody that's only eating something for that limited time, that sugar is not going to have an effect on them, I don't think. I've not seen it happen. I've used both, and both work well. But I know we'll get a lot of comments of anti-beet sugar people. I get it. I understand it. And that's the beauty about beekeeping. If you're passionate about something like pure cane sugar only, more power to you. Do that. Yeah, you don't have to convince the world. Just do what you want.
I buy the cheap stuff.
That surprises me about you. You mean you're a cheapskate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
And that's usually beet sugar, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Cane sugar is going to be a little more money, I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. How do we sign up for B Team 6?
B Team 6, I started that 8 or 9 years ago. It's a mentoring program. I coach people. It's on my website. I'll leave a link right here. We have a lot of people on B Team 6. I publish a newsletter about once a week, information that's good to know how your beekeeping, you know, journey is going, and new information for you. And you can always email me, and I try to urgently answer your emails anytime you have a question. So it's good for a lot of people to enjoy that. But yeah, just follow the link. Yep.
Okay. This is from Mark. Should I stop feeding once the goldenrod population explodes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In Illinois, there's not going to be anything else. I don't know if they're in Illinois, but here in Illinois, once goldenrod's finished, actually during goldenrod, I don't see a lot of nectar. I see, or a lot of pollen for that matter. I see some. I'd say, Patrick, 1 out of 10 years, I've seen a good flow in the fall.
Yeah.
But it's not that frequent. And I can't trust it. Have you ever seen it build up much in the fall?
Not that I notice. Everything from now on, I just leave for the bees. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not taking honey anymore this year.
Yeah. You and we've filmed, and we've had supers on there in the last month, and very little is being done to those, you know. So it's kind of a lost cause, really. Yeah. But I will say a lot of different regions have different types of flowers and things that will bloom that we don't have in Illinois. Some people say they have a good crop of this. I mean, the spotted lanternfly honey, I think it's probably a good thing this time of the year, maybe from the aphids and all. So, you know, it depends on where you live too. Yeah.
This is from Judy. So my warming fridge went crazy, and I had a bucket of honey get to 147 degrees. What can I do with it?
Okay.
Don't feel like I can sell it as it was so hot. Thanks for all your knowledge.
All right. 147 Fahrenheit, that's pretty hot. You know, honey in a hive can reach 100 degrees. Obviously, they keep it, the brood nest's about 95 degrees, but honey can get warmer than that. But no, it's not going to get that high. Once you reach 140 degrees, things can change a little bit in honey. Not bad though. You might start losing some of the enzymes. You're definitely going to change the flavor, I think, when it gets warm like that. So it's not going to be terrible. If it happened to me, is this Judy?
Judy.
Yeah, if it happened to me, Judy, I would eat it. I would love it and I would use it. Obviously, when you cook with honey, you're raising it way above 147. So you can still use it. But if you're worried about selling it to customers, I get that. I wouldn't do it. Or I would maybe do an experiment this year and bottle some up and keep it in your house like you're a customer and see how it might last, see if it's okay. But yeah, I understand if you don't want something to be, to be viewed not as pure and raw, you might want to dodge selling it, use it for yourself. Yeah.
Did you get the warming oven fixed?
Boy, that's true. Yeah. What is a warming fridge? I've never heard of a warming fridge. Is that just a fridge?
I've seen some people just put like heaters inside an old refrigerator.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I do that for raising queens. I use it for an incubator. Yeah. Put a little heating element in a fridge where the compressor went out. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But that's pretty hot for a light bulb.
It would be. You're right. Yeah, it would be.
Okay. This is from BC. I have a single deep that is full of drawn comb. I added a medium box of undrawn comb about a month ago to give them more space. If I feed them heavily, will they draw comb in the medium?
Well, if I knew that answer, I'd be a millionaire. I could answer everybody's question. The only the only way you're going to find the answer to that is your bees are going to tell you that answer, whether they can do it or not. Feeding does help them. It helps them draw wax out or make wax. But as the season gets later, it just gets harder to do. It really does. So use it as an experimental time. Go for it like it's going to work, and then you'll know how well it worked or not. I predict they'll do a good job on maybe 2 or 3 of the frames, but not the rest. Yeah, too late in the season.
This is from Katie in Central Florida. In summer with your feeder board, can you feed the ones who need it the 1-to-1 recipe in one port and water in the other? And thoughts on pseudo scorpions for mite prevention.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, my Sherry's dad will feed the bees sugar water and water at the same time like that. And I think bees would enjoy getting that water on top. I've done it before too. The water doesn't go down as fast as I thought as the sugar water does, but it will be a good little source of water in case they're really dry in your area. Absolutely. Pseudo scorpions, that's been something that's been around for a long time that people have talked about. They're tiny little scorpions and they're supposed to control mites in a hive. I think we're a long way from implementing that. It's a little tricky. I haven't seen that ball move down the field very much since it first started, maybe, a decade ago or more. But there's so many other ways to treat for mites than to kind of wait on this to come about. Yeah.
This is from Elizabeth. Have you ever seen a nuke killing queen after queen? I have one that had a queen. It disappeared. A second hatch and laid an egg and disappeared. It happened 4 times, finally out of food.
Oh, that's tragic. I've seen hives do that. And sometimes it's a struggle of us keeping hives queen right. They just seem like they keep killing their queen over and over again. And a lot of times it can be natural causes, like maybe when the queen came back from a mating flight, she wasn't mated well. They were trying to supersede her. It can be a lot of reasons. Maybe she just died of natural causes. Bees have a pretty complex physiology to them, and they can die of things just like humans can. So these bees these bees could be dying of natural causes, starvation or something. I don't think it's that they don't like the queens and they want them killed. I think it's more that they just have a problem with her and they keep trying to replace her and get a better queen is what I think.
After 4 times, would you just combine it with another hive then?
Yeah, if it's a nuke, it's not going to do much in the wintertime anyway. It's probably going to be time just to figure out how I can combine it to a newspaper or something. And if you're combining a 5-frame nuke into a 10-frame hive, the best way to do it is move the 5 frames into a 10-frame nuke box. But you don't have to really put any other frames in there. Just use the box and have the 5 frames in the middle, and then put the newspaper below that and top cover. Let them go through there. By the way, that the hive that we filmed, Patrick, that we combined, that did really well.
I know, that was pretty neat the way the newspaper was cut out.
I'm going to publish that video tomorrow, I think. But that's a beautiful looking example of how well they got along. And we discovered the queen went right up there and started laying. Like, okay, thanks for showing up. Where do I go to work? It was
That's
good.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is from Riddlefoot. Should I feed dry pollen substitute this time of year? I did yesterday and they loved it.
Oh yeah, I love doing that. And everyone's going to ask, well, what's the best pollen substitute or pollen powder substitute? It doesn't matter. As long as it's from a bee store, you can use Mega Bee, Ultra Bee, Brood Builder, all of them like that. Do great. I've used them all. Like it. I pour it out on a board. It's better not to be a rainy day or a wet day and not a very windy day where the bees it won't blow away or get wet. And the bees love it. Yeah, they really do. There's also pollen feeders that you can buy. You can put pollen in a feeder and that way it stays dry if it does rain. But do that. Bees want protein. It works good in the spring too. Yeah, it's amazing.
This is from Eddie. David, do you have a video giving advice on your feed products and which ones should be used together and how to use through winter?
Yeah, that's the one thing about YouTube, Patrick, that's hard is that the videos are just, the algorithm will, who knows what it will show you. And so it's really hard. But if you do some searching, if you go to YouTube, type in David Burns winter feeding, David Burns spring feeding, that's probably going to get you onto my videos that you're looking for. But essentially I use the liquid feed anytime I'm not feeding, not collecting nectar or honey on my hives. And then I'll use the Burns feeder boards during that time. But I use my winter bee kind starting about December all the way through spring. And then 42 days before my first blossoms, I will put the feeders on and start feeding pretty heavy. And that's usually February for me as I start feeding 1-to-1. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'll go in and I'll search David Burns like October.
Okay.
And it'll come up with October tips.
Yeah.
How to get ready, or David Burns September.
Yeah.
And it'll plan ahead.
Yeah. I've made a video for every month, sometimes 2 or 3 of them for every month of the year. It helps beekeepers. Now, some beekeepers have to adapt to where they live. It might be a little bit weeks differently, but they can make that difference. Yeah.
David, we are new beekeepers. We currently do not have a deep. Rookie mistake. Can we take frames from our existing and put them in a deep at this time?
Oh, well, thanks for being a new beekeeper. Congratulations. So you started out with probably all mediums, I guess, and now you want to move them over to a deep. Did I get that right?
I think so.
Okay, so the challenge is going to be when you move your mediums into a deep, it's going to be a 3-inch difference on the frame height. So the mediums are going to be about 6 1/8 on the frame, and your deep's going to be 9 1/8. And so by moving your medium into a deep box, that's going to leave about this much, about 3 inches of space. And what the bees will do, they may not do it now this time of the year, but what they'll do when they have a lot of nectar coming in, they're going to build comb and attach it to that bottom medium to make up the space in the deep. So that's what they're going to see. And I have frames where I've done that. And I don't mind it. It usually becomes drone comb, male drone combs with bigger size cells. They can still put honey in there, but oftentimes they raise more drones when they do that.
But they could just leave it in the mediums too, right? I don't know if they're doing that for winter, because you recommend
Oh yeah,
using
yeah.
a deep box,
Yeah,
or
well, that's true. They can just stick with mediums. You know, they don't feel pressured to go to deeps because you see me using them or Patrick or other beekeepers on YouTube. A lot of beekeepers run only mediums. But you just got to remember if you're in a cold climate, 3 mediums is about the same space as 2 deeps. So you might have to go with one more medium to do that. Yeah.
This is from Kay. We are new and have our first 2 hives. We placed them among the trees in south central Texas between 2 ponds. I think they need more sun. We have 1 strong hive and 1 weak hive. Do we move them?
Oh, you need more sun. Wow, Texas sun. I think I like Texas shade better. But I understand small hive beetle and shade can be worse. Maybe that's what you're experiencing. If you, for other reasons, if you don't like the shade, you got to move them. You can move them. It's hard moving hives because you confuse the foragers. And you should watch some of my videos I've made where we put things in front of the hive to completely, almost completely block off the entrance. And that way the foragers will get reorientated to that new location. But yeah, I think I can't really picture what your area looks like. But it seems like to me that you would want them in kind of like half a day of sun and maybe half a day of shade. And if you can select which half day, go for shade in the afternoon, because I'm sure it can be pretty hot in Texas in the afternoon. Try to get that sun in the morning.
We could go check it out in the winter.
Yeah, yeah, we could. That's the time to go, isn't it? I'll be down there in November.
There you go. Yeah, I forgot about that.
A lot of mesquite trees down there, and they have, mesquite trees have another bloom in the fall.
Yeah,
late summer, fall. So that's they have a bloom in the spring, makes good honey, makes those big bean pods, and you know you can eat those pods. People eat those. Yeah, you can make, they make flour out of it, and yeah, it's amazing. You can eat the leaves off those trees too. Yeah. See, you're cheap. You should be eating leaves. You know, you can save money.
I got oak trees.
Oh.
Okay, this is from Leslie. I live in Minnesota. Won't December be too late to give Winter Be Kind to the hive? It'll already be wrapped against the cold.
Oh, I see. No, what I do is when I wrap my hives, I don't wrap every hive, but when I've wrapped them, I wrap it just to the bottom of the top cover. And that way I can take off the top cover and I can, you know, it's going to come up, the wrap will come up to the, essentially the top of the top box. And then I can put the burned or the Winter Be Kind on top of that and then put my top cover back on. So you're changing those all winter long. That won't be a problem at all. I don't see that as an issue. Yeah, it won't be too late. No, just leave a way to take your top off and put that on. Yeah.
This is from Carol. If you combine 2 hives, what do you do with 2 queens? I didn't realize you could combine 2 different kinds of bees.
A lot of people wondered about that. I've seen questions recently. You know, you might have Carniolans, Italians, Buckfast, Russian bees. Remember, they're all Apis mellifera. And so they may be different subspecies, but they're all still honeybees. And so Pat and I probably have different ancestry and where we're from, but we seem to get along.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and it doesn't really, I don't really care where he's from, you know, we get along fine. And so the bees are similar like that. They're not going to be a problem. But yeah, what you do with that extra queen is going to be like save the queen as long as you can in case one dies in the late summer or fall, or find a beekeeper that needs a queen, and then you could put it in a little queen cage with some workers and send it over to somebody else that needs a queen. That's what you have to do. Yeah.
This one says, how do you store honey supers? Capped, uncapped, spun, unspun?
Oh, wow. I just made a video on that. Was it a live stream? Yeah, it was a live stream. Maybe last week or the week before.
I think it was.
Remember. But I made a whole video, so I'll leave a link in the description below for you to watch that video. I go pretty intensely into ways that you take care of these honey supers and store them. It's kind of a critical issue because if you store them wrong, then it can really turn out bad. You can get wax moths and mold. Have you tried storing honey supers before?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it, Pat?
I put them in the freezer for a couple of days to kill anything on them.
Boy, that's essential.
And then the first few years, I just stuck them in a tote.
Okay.
But now I take them out of the freezer. I put a box fan behind them, and I try to dry them out.
Yeah.
Because I would get mold on some of the frames.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes if I leave them out to dry out, then the wax moths would get them again after I took them out of the freezer.
I know.
So it's like
a
timing issue.
Where do you think those wax moths came from? They were just in the room? Or?
I had them in the garage at that time.
Yeah.
So, but we opened the doors.
Yeah.
They could have come in.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to protect them from all the bugs too.
But I don't want to use chemicals either.
Yeah, I know.
I'd almost rather have the wax moths.
Me too.
So,
yeah, if you read the chemicals on that, it's so toxic to use paradichlorobenzene. I think that there might be some other ones. Oh, there's cretin or BT402. There's some things you can use. Cretin isn't real bad. It's not. You have to only use it in stored equipment, but it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's pretty safe. I think. Yeah, but again, it's chemical.
Sure.
Yeah, or kind of that way.
Yep. This is from Henry. Hello, David. If you have a layer worker situation, he says, I don't. Are those drones still valuable to mate with virgin queens?
Oh, yeah, they can. They're going to be able to mate with her. Now, what we need to talk about this, I always like these kind of questions because I raised queens. I spent a lot of time researching all of this over the past 2 decades or 3 decades. So laying workers can lay an egg in the absence of a queen or brood. And what happens is that egg is going to be unfertilized. And so it's going to be a drone laid in a worker-sized cell, so it's going to be a smaller drone. So it will still be able to produce enough sperm to mate with a virgin queen. But here's the thing. These smaller drones will fly into a drone congregation area, and they won't be very competitive in what we call the drone comet. So all these drones in a big comet are chasing a virgin queen, and the fast ones and the strong ones are going to be in the front of the line. And so the little small drones in the back probably aren't going to be very far along in that comet. So that's the issue. If they catch up with the queen, they can mate with her just fine. But they're going to be coming in 5th and 6th place, or in their case, 30th and 40th. Yep. Yeah.
This is from Charlie. David, is there any difference in queen cells that are lighter than others? I have some that are very dark. Does it make a difference?
No, it doesn't make a difference. That's just based on the available wax that they have. A lot of times they'll kind of reuse some wax in the comb or on the comb, and it might be darker, it might be lighter. But you will see when the cell gets ready to open up, it will be darker on the tip of it. And that's pretty common. But no, the color doesn't make any difference. No.
This is from Mark. I fed my bees over winter with 1-to-1 with your additives, and they did well and consumed it slowly, but it worked well. This is Central Valley, California. Is this okay? They also had 70 pounds of honey.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's better than okay. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for using our products. And works well for me too. Yeah, that's fine. Just remember, don't feed them when you're wanting to collect honey, or 70 pounds of honey hopefully wasn't when you were feeding them. I mean, nobody wants to eat honey that's made from sugar water. So you want to make sure that you use the feeders to build the bees up so they can make a lot of honey. Yeah.
Can you taste the difference in the honey if they fed sugar?
I've never had the luxury of tasting it.
Me neither. That's why I didn't know.
I don't know.
I didn't know over the years if you've ever...
No, I haven't. I think they could still use their enzymes to make it almost identical. I don't know if you'd notice a difference. I really don't think so. But the thing is, how would you know? Because if you're allowing them to forage, they're going to be mixing it, aren't they? So you almost have to contain them in a greenhouse where they only eat sugar water and then taste it. I bet that's been done. That'd be a good study, wouldn't it? Yeah. You're always thinking of ways to study bees, aren't
Something
you?
for you to do.
Yeah.
This is from Derek. We need to put a new queen in our one hive. Should I continue mite treatment when I introduce the queen?
Ooh, good question. Now, it depends on the mite treatment. Some mite treatments have a reputation. I'm not saying it's, proven or disproven, right or wrong. There are, I'll just give you an example. Formic Pro has the reputation of killing queens. Now, I've used it, never lost a queen. Other people have used it, told me never hurts their queens. But other people say, yeah, I used it, it killed my queen. Have you tried Formic Pro?
Yeah, that's what I used to use until this year.
Okay.
Only.
Did you lose queens with it?
I had a couple that they superseded.
Okay.
But yeah. I always figured that was because the smell of the Formic Pro took over her pheromones, and they just assumed she wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's
okay. Yeah.
my thinking.
Yeah, so, waiting, introducing a queen, letting that queen settle down, get better, to be a better layer and all, before you continue your treatment, that might be better, I think. Yeah, I think it would be. Anything you introduce to the hive, like Patrick said, that messes with the pheromones, that could affect the queen.
And I don't know, you're supposed to have so many frames of bees.
Yeah.
I don't know if all of the hives or colonies had enough bees in there. So that could have been another issue too.
Right, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you kind of want to treat only, I feel that I would rather only treat very strong colonies where everything is right. If I've got a weak colony and they're struggling and I got a poor laying queen or something, it's painful to treat those because it's going to take a worse toll on them. Yeah, but if you don't treat them, the mites are going to take a worse toll.
Yep.
It's a coin toss, isn't it?
Yep. This is from Jared. I've planted anise hyssop 300 feet from my 5 hives and borage 20 to 40 feet from my 5 hives in pretty large numbers, and I only see bumblebees on them. Why don't I have any of my honeybees on them?
A lot of us feel that way. Is that early on in my beekeeping journey, I thought I could plant, flowers around the house or something. My bees just flew over them. They didn't want to talk to them, those flowers. But a lot of times, remember, bees are only going to go for a large area where there's a large amount of foraging availability, and they're only going to go for the sweetest, most abundant. And so a lot of times people will plant little gardens around their property and it's like, well, bees are flying over my garden. They're going 2 miles away to this huge field of clover. They prefer to do that. So you're going to see some of your earlier foragers, they take little mini flights. They fly short, close to home for a while, so they might get there. But the bulk of your foragers are probably going to greener and bigger pastures. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. In fact, I once read that if you want bees to really go for buckfast, you need to plant about, 5 acres of it. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. So just planting a little patch, it'll help a little bit, but not big time. Yeah.
When wrapping my hives for winter in Michigan, how does the hive get ventilated?
Well, again, we are, there's a lot of different approaches to this. And there's the traditional way where you can wrap your hive and you can ventilate it with a little bit of an opening on your bottom board or screen bottom board or a vent up top, something like that. And then you have the whole other way to view it is what's known as the condensing hive, where you really don't want any ventilation in it. You want them wrapped really tight the whole winter long. And the idea behind condensing hive, my friend Bill Hesbaugh is the godfather of the condensing hive. He's written a lot of articles about it. And his approach, I'm pretty sure, is that he's trying to find a way to cut down on the energy the bees will use to heat their hive or food they have to eat by insulating them heavily. I have found personally for me, and it doesn't mean you have to do it my way. If you want to do condensing way, do it. I hope you have great success, and you probably will. I like ventilation. So I cut a little, I have screen bottom boards. I'll cut a piece that will go in there that's a little bit smaller on about 1 inch, exposing an opening around my bottom screen board where that opening will allow a little ventilation. And then my winter be kind candy boards have a little bit of ventilation at the top for just passive ventilation. So that's the way I handle it. Bees don't really like to be wet, and you don't want over condensating situations in your hive in the wintertime. They can make too much water. Yeah.
First year beekeeper here, and
Yay!
my hives are doing great.
Oh, good.
I think it's because I'm surrounded by soybeans.
Oh.
They have fully drawn out and capped 2 supers. Can I harvest one and leave the other?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think so. It depends on where you live, obviously, but usually there's honey in the deeps, and then you add more, you leave a super on top. That's going to give you another 30, 40 pounds. So yeah, you could take one and enjoy it. Soybeans, depending on where you live, the soil, the pH, the type of bean, they can produce a good nectar flow like honey. Mine here, I don't see my bees on the soybeans. This year you can see it's corn, but and soybean years, I walk out there, I just don't see bees on it. Yeah, it depends on the crop and the type. Yeah.
I had 2 packages abscond from the same hive. Believe this hive had a mouse in it last winter. I removed and scraped frames and scorched wood on inside the hive. Is this enough to help next year?
Yeah. Okay. Absconding, for those of you that may not know that term, is when all your bees leave. That's not swarming. This is when everybody leaves, and usually the queen and all the bees leave. That's called absconding. So in this case, the mouse is what the mice really did the damage. They urinate and poop inside the colony, and bees will not like that smell. They won't stay there. I've found that the hard way to be true. What I have to do is I can scorch the wood. That will do it. You have to replace your frames. Just go ahead, bite the bullet. If you're using plastic frames with wood or plastic foundation on wood, pop the plastic, burn it, get rid of it, put new foundation in there. That's the only way you're going to do it. Yeah. Bees can smell better than dogs. I mean, they can smell anything like that, and it will bug them. That's why they absconded. Yeah, absolutely.
This is from Jeff. Would you normally remove the bees from a frame that you wanted to add to a weaker hive?
No, I don't think so. It depends on the type of frame it is. And if it's a frame of open brood, I would never remove that, because those nurse bees are taking care of the larvae. And probably I would leave it even on the cap brood, because they're keeping it warm. Honey frames might be a different issue. You might want to brush the older bees off that are hanging out there. But they usually get along pretty good. Pat and I have made videos where, we've said, let's put this frame over here. Will they fight? Let's videotape it. They seem to get along fine. We don't really see much going on. So, bees, it depends on what you're doing. Obviously, robber bees are not tolerated. But when you introduce 2 frames together and the bees are already working on one frame and working on the other ones, they just work together, I think. Yeah.
This one's from Patrick. Says, we love your cameraman. He needs a raise.
Let me see that. Oh my gosh. Well, people do love you.
Yeah.
And someone did leave a little donation one time to you, and I made sure you got that. So, yeah, that's
nice.
good. You can always leave a little super thanks at the bottom of this video for Patrick.
No,
yeah,
I'm good.
I know. Well, I do want to say, Patrick, it is a ball working with you.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. People don't realize how we met, but you emailed me a long time ago.
Yep.
Probably 3 years ago.
I think so.
And you said, hey, if you need somebody maybe to help with videos, run the camera or something, I can help you. And I'm ashamed to admit this, but I don't think I responded.
No, you ignored me. No big deal.
I get a lot of those requests, and I never know who's serious.
I understand.
And you gotta think, do they want to be paid? I don't know if I can afford them. Things like that. So sometimes it's easier just not to say anything.
Sure.
But anyway, I spoke at your club last
March.
Yeah, last March.
Well, a year ago March.
Yeah. And then you came up and said, hey, I'm the guy that emailed you. And that gave me a better opportunity to see that you are weird. No, I said, okay, you liked, I could tell our personalities would match
Mhm.
in the field, and so we set up a time for you to come, and
Yeah, it worked out well.
it really has. We have
Yep.
a lot of fun.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, you always come bearing good gifts out of your garden.
Out of the garden,
Out of the garden. But I will say your jalapenos are on the spicy hot side.
I have hotter peppers if
Oh
you
my
like.
gosh! Wow, I don't want to cry when I eat and just burn my lips, but tomatoes and zucchini, those things are outstanding.
Yep, good.
Your tomatoes are crazy. My wife loves tomatoes, and she's been missing the taste of a good homegrown tomato. And man, you've hit that one out of the park for her.
Good.
Oh yeah,
I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's great. The worst time about us working together is when winter hits.
I know.
And we don't get to see each other for a lot of months. So this year, let's try to film anyway. Like, we can do things in the shop, and you can still come down, you know, and when we're not snowed in, and film together. So that's cool. Well, you did a great job on the green chair.
Thank you.
I know you'd rather be on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, this is out of my comfort zone.
I know, I know. You're better when you're not on camera. I get it. You know, you have to be like me and just do it for like 17 years, and you'll get used to it.
No.
One of the things we were talking about, Patrick, is that we don't think people realize the hard work that goes into making a video.
I agree.
That's a tough part of it.
It's pretty tough some days.
It really is. You know, there's so much setup the way we do it. You know, we have to think about what we're going to be doing, and we have to get equipment ready, and get all the smoker fuel cut, and get tripods and batteries.
Where are we putting the cameras? Yeah, are my batteries charged?
Yeah, there's so much to it. And then filming it, it takes a lot just to make sure. What's really good about you is you give the special touch of being able to zoom in on what I'm talking about. In the old days when it was just me, I'd have to carry a frame closer to the camera. Then I didn't know if it was in focus or not. But boy, you nail it. You about the time I start talking about what I'm seeing, you're on it.
And the viewers don't get to see every time I mess up.
No, I edit that out.
Yeah. like last week, David says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah." So he starts talking, and I'm looking at all the settings on the camera, and I said, "Wait a minute, I didn't hit record." So we don't even have a blooper. And it was like an hour later, we did the same thing again.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I messed up twice in one day.
That was funny.
Yep. In fact, you're laughing on one of the videos.
I know.
And I think it was because of that.
It was the leftover laugh.
Yep.
And what I started saying was I didn't say, "Are you ready?" I started saying, "Is the camera ready?"
Yep.
And wow, we have made our share of bloopers where the camera wasn't running or a microphone wasn't on, but we're pretty good. We've worked out we've got a pretty good system now where we're pretty good checking. We'll probably get done with this one and realize the camera went out.
That'd be awful.
It's happened, hasn't it? It's pretty. We had to redo some things before. So yeah. So you want to tell anybody what it's like in your personal life? Are you enjoying retirement?
I love retirement.
Yeah.
I get to do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had it pretty good where I was working.
Yeah.
But I have it better where I'm at now.
That's good.
I do what I want to do most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great. Did you enjoy being an electrician your whole life?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I like the challenge.
Yeah.
There were times when you'd get called up at 2 o'clock in the morning and have to go to work.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate that, but that's what you did.
Oh yeah.
So
that's good.
I liked it.
Yeah. Other hobbies that you have?
What do I cook? I like to cook.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Oh yeah, I make the big soft pretzels from scratch.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're fantastic.
Dang, you put salt on them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My wife doesn't like all the salt, so I cut back on hers.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I do like deep dish pizza from scratch.
Holy cow!
Yeah. I used to do cheesecakes, but I kind of quit doing cheesecakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like to cook.
Oh my gosh, that's good to hear. Now I'm hungry. I don't think I had lunch yet. Well, I can't thank you enough, Patrick. It has worked out better than I thought.
Good.
Had I known that you're such a cool guy and fun guy to be with, I would have said yes to your first email.
Yeah.
So you just didn't sell yourself good enough on that first email.
Maybe I was a stalker.
You could have been. Maybe you still are.
Yeah, you don't know.
Well, anyway, you're gaining a lot of traction. People are talking about Patrick on my YouTube channel. So I I had to have you on here and just let people get to know you a little
See
better.
who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing special.
But man, sometimes you're on the ground on your knees.
Yeah, they don't see that part.
I know.
He made me lay down one time.
I did. It was just a perfect shot. Yeah.
They don't see all that.
They don't see all that. So you work hard as I do out there. So we're working hard. Patrick and I are working hard for you guys to help you keep healthier bees, make fewer mistakes. And we make our share of mistakes. We all do, but we're learning together.
Yep.
Thanks a million, Patrick.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Yep.
Well, if you guys want to see the live stream that we made where we talked about how that you can get ready in August for winter. Believe it or not, you can do some things now to get ready for winter. So watch this video. I'll cram it over here on this side. We'll see you guys over there.